What is up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Let me just start by sharing the stream real quick in the Discord, and then we are gonna go into some analysis. I want to start at Bitcoin, go over a few majors like Ethereum, Solana, check out the NASDAQ, grab a few stocks, and then we should have our stream filled. And of course, any requests from someone that is joining the stream, I will be also drawing in the possible scenarios in there. Okay, stream is working. Beautiful. Alright, I did share the stream in the Discord. So let's just get into the analysis. Bitcoin. Of course, when we are taking a look at this higher time frame, we do have certain things that I am looking at. And when I draw in these red arrows, and in this case at the bottom the green arrow, what I mean by that is those are possible market maker signals for me. So big players stepping in there, either buying or selling their positions or shorting the market, of course, to then push the price in the other way. And of course, when we have a liquidity hunt like this and another liquidity hunt like this, we have a draw on liquidity, alright? And when we do have a draw on liquidity, the market needs to move the other direction. The way this was set up was just to move down, create more liquidity to then reach here. Is this the end goal? We don't know yet unless we start breaking this high right here and continuing from there. But what we did at the local part was very interesting. I'll get into that in a bit. Before that, I want to just mark out real quick our high time frame structure, which is clearly this low towards a new high. Okay, so in market structure terms, if we even manage to keep the old all-time highs here and this whole accumulation, we could still expect more upside towards new all-time highs. So keeping that in mind, we do want to look for longs, and when we draw in this range, a lot of people are familiar with premium and discount, and of course when you're in discount, that's when buying becomes interesting, and when you're in premium, that's when selling is interesting. So what have we done right here? This is where price is holding right now. Why is this price action so important? Well, this price action is so important because it was the last bit of price action before we actually managed to break towards new all-time highs. Mark it out. And to be honest, I have a demand right here, right? And this was our last bit of price action before we push towards all-time highs, but because we have two open lows here, and this is actually where some manipulation happened before pushing up, I don't mind us taking out these lows and then continuing. This would be a great scenario. So on the higher time frame, you would be looking at that, but also then on a daily, this is your pullback that brought you towards new lows. So that's also what you want to gain for an order to create more upside. I do not like this song. Okay, so let's start zooming in on this local picture. This is actually such a great level, by the way. Draw it from here. Once again, terrible music. Get something more chill on. There we go. Just stomp something that's not disturbing. There we go. Just pin the message in the chat if you do have any requests. Maybe you charted your own chart and you're curious how I would look at the chart you've just made, then hit me up, I'll pick it up. Alright, so on this local picture there are a few interesting levels we have to look at. And we already considered this made as new low. So if we never managed to gain this high, we could still make this lower high for new lower lows, because that is just the expected order flow on the higher time frame, right? But if we take a look at the bottom here, I put a green arrow here because this could be some market maker involvement what happened here. This has a positive effect and a negative effect, because the positive effect is this bottom right here is really great. We have spent a lot of time here, 2 days, but then again also the weekend. But Monday we swept all the weekend liquidity, which is great, and we started trending up from there. This made us new lows. That's what we gained, and that's when we could have expected higher low for another higher high. Expected order flow. So the way we traded up here is not bad. But now the negative side, this line, equal low, because when we zoom out, this is the part that brought us up to new all-time highs. But we also have these lows open. We took out this one, but we didn't take out this one. And you would say, if market makers wanted to get involved in this, why wouldn't they take this out, stop everyone that has been longing this whole move out, take over their positions, and then move price up? So that is an interesting one to keep in mind, because you could say so. This is then just creating more liquidity to make this zone more interesting to take it out. I also have this point of interest drawn in, because I think this move is where we manipulated towards new highs, and this is just a little last pullback before this. But this is where the real strength came from, because you traded above a high, lured in a lot of buyers into the market, took them out, and then accelerated towards the highs. This is also where your volume profile is, or where your point of control is in your whole range. So most of the volume that happened in this range was right here. On the lower time frame, you have this pullback before we made new highs. Let me zoom in on it. So we were bearish here, right? We were trending down, making new lows until buyers stepped in, took over from the sellers, and we made a change of character. And what is a change of character? Well, I like to call it a momentum switch, because it's your first break towards the opposite direction. So from a downtrend, if you have a change of character, you're now in an uptrend, and that is because if you're in a downtrend, you're making lower lows, lower high, lower lows. If you have the change of character, your expected order flow goes from the lower lows, lower highs to you've made a higher high, then you can expect a higher low for more higher highs. And this is what is untested. This is also where your point of control is, and this is also part of some great liquidity here. Like I've just said, we've left these equals here. I think we've left them for a reason, and that is to return there. So what did we actually do today? Because more equals on the highs as well. Yes, more equals on the highs. What could this indicate? Well, the equals here on the lows meant grabbing liquidity on the highs. Could be here, could be here, could be here. We traded up. But I think this is all purpose to just build more liquidity to take out and then actually fill your orders and go up from there. So we've now made equal highs as well. The same signal it gave us at the bottom, I think it will do at the top as well. And that is searching liquidity on the lows. We had this pullback that brought you to new highs, but didn't grab this liquidity. We also have an untested supply here, which brought you to new lows, right? Really relevant to test back. We never did. Now we've made a change of character, a momentum switch. And this is where your seller stepped in. This is also the really relevant part at this line. I have this level drawn in because it is just such a great support and resistance. And if you overlap your support and resistance with your supplies, demands, etc., they are really strong zones. So what is expected from Bitcoin now? I think because we've made these equal highs here, we should only trade downwards for now until it's proven otherwise, okay? We've made new highs, we've made a new lower low. What is our expectancy? A lower high for new lower lows. I think the coming days and the next week, there is a possibility that we can trade towards these equal lows that we made at the bottom right here, and then also tap this demand. And then next week, when we've done all that, we can actually start gaining momentum again, breaking out of this, how long is it? 21-day downtrend. And what we did there as well, structure pointing up. This was actually a PO3, but what happens is you trade below structure, you draw in a lot of sellers into the market, also with this aggression as well. Then when you take out those sellers, with leaving your major high open, That is really bearish to me. And that's why I have this scenario drawn in. I want to look for something like this so I can trade downwards in this level towards those equal lows. So let me just draw on the scenarios that I am looking at on Bitcoin. Would be this one. And this one. That is literally Bitcoin. I hope it will supply chain until it's proven otherwise, till that level, because that just gives you really clear trades, and you only have to look at have to find the local trigger to actually start shorting. Okay, now that we have done Bitcoin, let me quickly get a sneak peek at the NASDAQ. Remove a few things. Daily time frame, interesting range. I said in the last live stream that if this is not enough liquidity to start trading towards this level right here, then we are going to go towards all of these lows down here. And this reaction is no joke, okay? And why are we getting this reaction? Well, take a look at this. Our structure is pointing up and we've created new highs. We're at all-time highs, a lot of hype, so a lot of volume is being turned over in the market here as well. Our expectancy was a higher low, which you can see market wanted to do that for a higher high, but we failed to do so. Okay, sellers stepped in, pushed price down. What do we have here? This is our breaker in combination with our supply and also in combination with our old all-time highs. A lot of resistance levels that we are looking at on the NASDAQ. So if this hunt grabbing liquidity is not enough to keep trading up now, it's going to be down until proven otherwise towards this level. So if we leave this high open, do something like this, then it would make sense to target all of these equal lows, and from there we can start looking for more upside. Why these levels? This is what brought you to new highs in swing terms. So all of the buyers that stepped in have their invalidation below this level, and that actually makes it interesting to take out and then absolutely start blasting off again. So I just wanted to point that out on the NASDAQ. Locally, of course, crazy buy to sell, but look at the way you traded up here. This was all set up before. Just that pump to create so many more buyers into the market, and then just absolutely annihilate them all. We should look at this, a compression. I like compressions. Why? Because they're, for me, pretty readable, pretty easy to read. Because we have tested such a big support here, I am expecting more upside. Of course, our trend is down, but we still have way more to test above here as well. So if this local scenario gives us upside reasons, then yeah, sure. I'm willing to take and look for some upsides. 800%. We're holding this 50-minute point of interest right now. We could just start continuing from there. So what is happening? Swing high, our swing low. From here, we're just starting to build liquidity on the lows and on the highs. And there's pretty much, how can you trade this? Really simple. Pretty much two ways for me to trade this. It's one. And that's two. Grab one side of the liquidity and then see if the market wants to go towards the other side of the liquidity, alright? What I can see is that we are taking out a lot of highs, attracting buyers into the market, but we're leaving our lows intact. That could mean that we need those lows to fill up our orders, to then move towards our swing structure, which has the most liquidity laying there. Also traded up here, leaving this high, but attracting buyers because you went above here. So if we take this out, I would definitely be sharp for any possible longs. So I have 50 minutes still to take a trade. So that's the macro times. Alright, NASDAQ done. You know, I've been thinking, because I always do such comprehensive analysis, and what I mean by that is so much in detail. Literally every analysis I do, like I'm already streaming for 22 minutes and 50 minutes from that was literally from analyzing Bitcoin. And that whole Bitcoin analysis is literally education on itself. It's talking about everything I see. Pretty much, not everything of course, but pretty much a lot of things I know in trading we are talking about in the free live streams. There's so much value in these live streams, so I want to cut that thing shorter. Okay, I want to give a bit less away, go a bit less in detail, literally giving out the explanation and the free education in these streams. So I want to watch myself with that, and I'm gonna go more quickly over the analysis. What do I have? Two lines there. Oh, volume profile. Okay, just wasn't loading there. Let's start by removing this. You can see this is a great support and resistance, but then over here it's a bit ugly, right? And that is because we are doing something different. I know we are trying to accumulate here, where you have your starting point of the range, your deviation, and then your third deviation. Let's extend our ranges. For ETH to move up, it needs to happen from this level though. We have taken out all of our extreme liquidity. Okay, let's actually draw this one to the bottom. I want my view to be clear. A bunch of liquidity on the highs. And what is your technical target of a liquidity schematic like this? Well, it's the range high. Alright, X mark. We've left our swing that brought us to new lows open. So this could just be a search and destroy and we can continue. I think it is really interesting to look for local longs here. We are looking at the higher time frame. Alright, actually more distributive behavior than accumulation. What is holding price down? A lot. Damn. This level. Is this taken out? No. Interesting for later. Because this is where the hunt happened, and that's also when you started trading above this high. So if we do leave this low open, let's mark it out. Shorten this in. If we do leave this low open, it's not bad to look for upside, because we are leaving these liquidity highs open now. What do I want to see that been taking out? This. Why? This is what brought you towards those highs, and we are building some liquidity below it. It's either gonna be a squeeze up, where you just push up, where you have the scenario also to this reverse from, or you can take it out and actually move up. There we go, something like this. What I do not like is that we do not really have a point of interest here. We're just holding support. And if we do not lose that support, then we can only look up, right? But because we are leaving open this high, we've broken internal trend now as well. This is what caused our break towards the downside right here. So we can expect some resistance, maybe move towards this level. And if not, it's just gonna squeeze up, but then I'm not interested in any place. There's not any setup for me then. And I do want to see proper setups before taking trades, right? So we'll see. Could just be building liquidity now to take it out, but you're in this compression. I did not put an alert on NASDAQ, I just remember. Okay, you actually didn't. take out those lows. Then you have the chance, because of this local part, attracting buyers, taking them out, that we could actually just start moving up. And that's fine, but then it's not gonna be a play for me, right? I mean, you want your confirmations. You want to look for your triggers. And if your trigger is not there to take a trade, then you just should not take that trade. It's that simple. Okay, but to be quick with it, we would have to build something here on ETH, build some sort of accumulation. We could also still take out this low, start to move up, creating that swing low pattern on the lows. Or we could just start trending up now. We do not do that. This is really big POI, but it's true. We could reject here and still make new lows. So a few scenarios drawn in for ETH, but I am leaning more towards the upside because of this local picture. But then again, all of this could be a trap to just get that move down. Because we've taken liquidity here, would make sense to take the liquidity down here and test this demand. And then start moving up, so we'll see. Solana has been looking bearish for a while, man. Okay, Solana, what has been happening? Hold its support. We actually had an accumulation here. You can tell by these lows. So it would also make sense to continue trading up from here. But then the high time frame is not in line with it. I think we're doing something like this now. Let me remove this higher time frame range, okay? This is the range on... Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you could have the range high, low, deviation 1, deviation 2. That you could start trading down from here towards this level. Great level, by the way. Or we have two local scenarios. We have a front run of our point of interest. We do not have that much liquidity on the lows though. In this local part, your liquidity is over here, but that aligns with your bigger range. Extreme liquidity. Wait, 1 second, guys.